Hi, my name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your #1 source for real estate advice online. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for watching my videos. I got lots more, so please stay tuned. And I try to post them as fast as I can. Of course, life sometimes catches up with me, so I try to make videos anyways whenever I can. And this video, we're going to talk about Beaufort County, South Carolina's tax sale that I attended last week. So very recently here, about a week ago, I went to a tax sale in Beaufort County, South Carolina. And I want to just briefly tell you a little bit about how the sale went and also what I got, because I know you guys are interested in that. So I haven't bought anything in quite some time, so I'm kind of excited that I was able to fill my pipeline a little bit. Let's talk about South Carolina though. So South Carolina is our neighbor to the north here in Georgia, and of course the next county over is Jasper County, and I've made videos about that. But I've never been to the Beaufort County one, which is basically the main city there is Hilton Head. But we're coastal area, so we have a lot of little inlets and islands and little areas. And yeah, that was the area that we went to. The sale actually happened in Bluffton, and it was inside a recreational complex. It was a very big sale because they do their sale only once a year, and the initial list had 1,600 properties on it. That's just way too many to even research in a week or 2 weeks or a month. So I decided with my student, I took a student with me, to wait until pretty much close to when the sale happened to see what was left on the list, so we didn't have to research everything. What we ended up doing, because this is our first time for both of us at this particular sale, we didn't research anything. We just went ahead and tried to go as observers. We did both register for the sale. I think it was a really cheap registration fee of like $30. I don't believe we're going to get that back. I haven't really checked, but I'm not really too worried about it. You know, if it was a $1,000 registration fee like some of the other sales that I've been to, then I'd be a little bit more worried about getting my money back. But for $30, they actually gave you a really nice folder, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, and the printout, and they give you like a little sheet where you can write the winning bids and the bidding number. So they were very, very organized. The sale itself happened in a really nice recreational facility. It was like a gym, basically community gym. It had like basketball courts and outside facilities and stuff. So they basically cornered off one part of a gym and set up chairs, and they had a professional auctioneer come and do the actual auction. I want to say that there was maybe at least anywhere between 100 and 200 people there. I'm guessing probably closer to 200, but people were coming and going all the time, so it was kind of hard to see. For security, there was 2 police officers present at all times that were watching everything, and they had at least 3 or 4 people sitting at the top of the table recording all the bids. And they gave you like a bidding number, and let me just get you all that stuff so I can show you what everything looked like that they gave us. So when we arrived, we couldn't register anymore, so you had to pre-register online basically. So when we arrived, they said, "Are you pre-registered?" And we said, of course we were. There's other people that came and they said, "Are you pre-registered?" And I said, "No, we didn't." And they're like, "Well, you're welcome to come watch, but you can't bid." So we got this really nice printed out folder with the treasurer here on top. She was also present, very nice lady. And in this folder, of course, they gave us the bidder card. If you are subscribed to my Facebook channel, you actually saw pictures that I had taken at the sale, and I posted them there so you can check them out, and you can also see like what it looked like in there, how many people were there. It has like instructions of how to get to the address where this auction was, as well as which, you know, once you got this, you're already there. But it also has information of where to make payments if you didn't bring payment methods. And of course, then you also got the little informational brochure. I don't know if you can see that. And then they give you this really cool list, and this is 24 pages long of all the properties they were bidding on. And you can see, I don't know if you can see really closely, but they left you this space to put in the bidding number, whoever won the bid, and also how much the winning bid was for. And you can see a little bit of what the prices were. There was some really high-end properties that went for $140,000. I see some for $400,000. We did ask the officials how much actually some of the properties go for, and some of them go for the millions, they said. But most of these are in the range of a couple of thousand, so maybe 10,000 to 50,000. There's a couple of really low ones, and there's a whole bunch of no bids as well. There was a lot of no bids at the sale that were nobody bid on it, even though there's a lot of people there bidding. What we did notice is that there were several people at the sale that had several of these numbers. So I'm believing that one person was working for several investors, and they all registered individually, so they had different cards to bid on different properties depending on what the bid was up to. So that was kind of interesting. I was actually not the one that noticed that, my student did, so it's always good to go with like a team of people that you know and trust. And of course in this case we were in a teaching experience, so we were learning how to do this properly. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the techniques of this. At the sale itself, it actually went on for several hours. There was a lot of bidding back and forth, and my biggest question of course was, how do you pay? Because a lot of the sales that I go to, you have to bring certified funds, a certified check, or you have to bring cash. Of course, you don't want to carry thousands of dollars of cash. That's not very safe, and also not a good idea. So a lot of people bring certified checks, and it always depends on how quickly do you have to pay for a property. So if you have till the end of the day, that means you have enough time, if you have a local bank, to run to the bank and get a certified check for whatever you won, and then there's minimum amount of holding time of any actual money in your pocket. But of course, you know, for lower bids, there should be another way to pay for this. So I was actually purchasing a property. I did buy a property at the sale, and I paid with my check card. Just simple as that. And so I really like that. So as I walked out, once I finished bidding on my property, they gave me this green sheet. Actually, they gave me several sheets, but this is the important one. It's basically the property that I bought. It is a lot in Beaufort County. It's on an island called the Fusky Island, and it is an island that is pretty much a recreational island of maybe 5 square miles, just south of Hilton Head, and it's accessible only by by boat, or there's a ferry that goes several times a day back and forth. It's like a 15 to 20 minute ferry ride, and it's about 400 people that live on this island year round. It's basically a very small community with a lot of artisans and farmers markets and small little distillery, a restaurant, things like that, and very pristine beaches, actually, Atlantic coast beaches. And my property is maybe a couple hundred yards from the beach, so I'm very pleased with this. It was I paid for this $1,100, which was just about the starting bid, and I can tell you what the starting bid was actually, if I can find it. Just a moment. So the starting bid was $1,091.14. I got it for $1,100. So I went about $8.76 over the minimum bid. So pretty much I got it for minimum bid. This property, I was able to find some property records on this property. And by the way, don't do what I did. I told my student this first time I went to the sale. What I usually do, because I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to research 300 properties and maybe or maybe not bid on one, I do just go ahead and buy one, a cheap one, like a $1,000 one, in the full expectation that I might lose my money, but I can also very quickly learn the process and maybe even get a property. Now, South Carolina, the way they work is they are a lien state. And so you are buying a lien, you're not getting the property, it's not a deed auction. And depending on when the original owner redeems the property, that's how much interest you get. It's an interest state, so you get 3% in the first quarter, 6% in the second, 9% in the third quarter, and 12% in the last quarter. And if the property is not redeemed within a year and a day, I believe, the county treasurer and county attorney will just write you the actual deed. But you don't have to go through the barring of redemption rights, which is an automatic thing that's included with this particular state. It's a little bit different than Georgia. Saves me a step anyways. And from the past, when I've done these, what will happen is if the owner does come to redeem, you don't have to deal with them directly. They'll go to the county. They'll send you notification via mail saying that somebody redeemed the property. Please send us this paper. Once you send in this paper, they'll send you a check with the amount that you paid plus the interest. So it's very easy, very straightforward. I like it. Don't lose this sheet, they said. If you do, it's a $100 fee. So this green printout is worth $100, people. So I'm going to keep this in a safe place. What else can I say about this auction? Because this was an interesting auction. So they would group the properties. And this might be something that's also done in other counties. So this is why I'm telling you this, because you may or may not ever go to South Carolina or even to Beaufort County. So you see that some properties are actually, several owners have the same property. I'm going to find you one and show it to you. Okay, so here's a property by an owner called Cat Island Investments, Inc. The starting bid was $58,000, $542.48. This property went for $250,000, so it went for about 5 times as much as the starting bid, a little bit less than 5 times. The same owner had a property, I believe it was in a different area, close to it anyways. Not really sure because the PIN number of the property is kind of the same, but not exactly. But it looks like it was just a lot because the starting bid was only $500. So they skipped the second one because the overbid from the first one covered the second one. So just a little bit of a idea is if there's an owner that had 3 or 4 properties that were auctioned off at the same time, if the first one on the list, and they go one by one on the list, if the first one had an overbid, significant overbid that covered the taxes on the other ones, then they would apply the overbid amount to pay for the other ones, and the other ones would not be auctioned off at the auction. They would basically just be marked as paid for the owner. So the owner doesn't have to worry about losing all of his properties, only one of them. Never seen that before. Makes sense though. It's fair practice, I believe, for the original owner. And that's another special thing that I learned from this sale. Oh, another thing that we were really worried about is when we looked up the properties in the GIS map and the property cards and the treasurer's records, the starting bids or the taxes owed were different than what the opening bids were on this list. Now this list was available online as well, but not in this format. So we were able to compare the opening bids to what it said on the website, and they were different. So when we got to the auction, I asked them, and they said, well, the opening bid actually includes the current tax year, whereas what you see online is only the past due taxes. So they do include the current year's taxes as well. So if you're the owner, then at least for a year, you don't have to worry about your taxes. And I do believe that they bill taxes yearly. Don't quote me on that though, because I didn't ask that and it didn't matter to me anyway. So we're gonna figure that out in the next year as I own this property right here on Defusky Island. The funny thing that the treasurer said in the very beginning was, she said it very loudly for everybody in the room to hear, do not buy anything that you haven't researched. I didn't heed her advice, I bought it anyways. That's just the way I do things. And if I lose, I lose, but if I win, I win. And then I've learned something for the next tax sale. I know now where the areas are. I've also learned the fact that these delinquent tax properties in this particular county are actually arranged on a GIS map, and the map is available on their website. So you can go and see different areas of town where these properties are, and if you familiarize yourself with the area and you know the different areas of town, you'll be able to see very quickly which areas you want to concentrate on researching, which ones you're just going to skip because that's not an area where you want to go to. I really like that idea. We don't have that here in Georgia, so here, Georgia can learn something. So the actual bidders that were there was a lot of individuals. There were trustees, brokerage representatives, and banks bidding. I found that a lot of the institutional bidders didn't really care about the lots or anything like that. The little ones, there was not much competition on the lower levels, but there was a lot of competition with the higher end ones. And this is what I'm guessing is that this sale was mostly visited by institutional investors who are interested in making the interest on a particular property and not necessarily wanting to keep the property. So this is good news for you if you're an individual investor just starting off. If you want to go to a sale and get a cheap property, just go to these really huge sales because you might actually get something, because there's a lot available for not as much people that are competing on your money level. Now, if you go to a small sale like Chatham County, where I usually go to, we got sharks on all levels because there's only 10 properties every month. But these big sales with 300 or more properties, something's going to fall off the tree and you're going to get it as long as you're just standing next to the tree, basically. Now, I know a couple of you asked me, and this is the last point I'm going to make for this video, and this also applies to a lot of other counties. What happens if you don't pay for a property that you won? The treasurer explained this very quickly. She said that there is a $500 fee if you don't pay for your property by the end of the day, so they gave you all day. If, of course, they have all your contact information, so you pay the $500 fee. And you will probably never be able to bid at this particular sale again. So I do know some investors hire people to just bid a bid up and then don't pay, and $500 per person would be collateral damage, and then the properties move to the forfeited land commission list, on which they can just buy it for the minimum amount. I'll make another video about this. This is also covered as a tip for real estate investors in my newest ebook that I'm actually thinking about, and I'll talk to you more about that in another video. Okay, so the property I bought, I'm going to add some pictures, slides here at the end of this video so you can see what I got. I do plan to go there and check it out. I think it's going to be a nice day trip with the kids to go on the ferry to see this property that Mommy got at an auction. And also, I've never been on the Fusky Island, which is close to here, and what I've heard is it's a very well-visited vacation spot, especially for people with boats. But of course, I don't have a boat, so I'll go on a ferry, and that's fine. And I think you can rent golf carts to get around the island once you're there, or even bring our bicycles. That might be a great idea. And yeah, so that was my review of the sale. I hope this video is super long, so I'm gonna quit it, and the last point that I'm thinking of that I can't think of right now, I'm gonna add it to a next video, hopefully. I hope you found this useful. Make sure you subscribe, share my videos, leave me comments. I look forward to read them all. I do read them all. I don't always have time to respond. I did also currently, about a couple weeks ago, publish my newest audiobook. It's called 13 Steps to Your First Tax Sale Foreclosure Investment. It is not on my website yet. Maybe it is by the time you watch this video, but I do have the link right here at the bottom of this video. It's very exclusive right now. Not a lot of people even know about it, but it has a step-by-step process to do and get a property, to do exactly what I do and get a property under your belt, at least one. And I want to help you accomplish that goal. So make sure you check that out. And I look forward to hear from you. Have a great day investing.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.